Hello, welcome to Popalong RC. I'm Mark Heath Carl, and we are here with a bunch of cars. I haven't seen these ones for a little while because I've been doing a lot of off-road stuff.
And I've been tagging along, trying to keep you company because I know you get very anxious if
Listen,
you go out without me.
I set myself a goal to get better at it, and do you know what is happening? I made day final the other day.
Well done. Who were you racing against?
There's that Harley Eldridge. I raced against her, and do you know what? Right?
She beat you.
Yeah, massively. Lapped me twice. Anyway, what's this video about?
Well, do you know what? I've got a problem, boss.
I know that, but...
And I think on-road racing has got a problem. Because, do you know what?
Whoa. You're going to upset people again.
No. How am I going to upset people?
Go
I'm
on.
just stating facts.
Okay, go on.
All right.
Let's hear it.
I'll tell you what then, as you do want me to upset people, let's talk about these things over here, for example. This here.
Yeah.
Off-road buggy.
Yeah.
I could take that to a track.
Yeah.
And I could race it, right?
You can indeed.
And if I've got a four-wheel drive car, what do I do with it?
You can race that as well.
What, in Widows?
Well, actually, some clubs will stick you in. Yeah, it depends. If it's a club night.
And what about my vintage buggies? Can I take those?
Yeah,
you just end up in the same.
You can race them as well. Yeah,
go racing, don't you?
And the beautiful thing about the modern buggies is you can just hop them up. You can put a 4-turn motor in it if you want. You can do what the hell you like, mate. That's what I like.
And everyone's in there. So you go to a buggy club, there's 30, 40 people, they're all running cars.
I mean, it's safe to say the buggy scene in the UK right now is thriving, including the vintage stuff.
The vintage scene's mega, right?
Why do you think that is?
Because, I don't know, it's just accessible, right?
Yeah.
Now, on-road, on the other hand, I think it's got a problem. I'm going to say it.
Go on, say it.
Right then, shall we break it down?
Break it down, brother.
Okay,
Bro,
so as we said before, buggies, you can go to the track, you can run your buggy. Yeah, there's basically two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, but it's buggies,
Buggies is buggies.
Off-road is off-road. If I want to go racing on-road, now I could go Tamiya Minis, like this one here. Tamiya Mini Racing.
Tamiya Mini Racing.
But you haven't really got a raceable Tamiya Mini at the moment because you run a Tamiya TT01. And that's a different class, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's Tamiya touring car racing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or you could go Tamiya F1 racing.
Right, Tamiya F1 racing.
Or, this is kind of vintage stuff, but you could go just F1 racing, which is
F1
like...
racing. Oh, yeah, Schumacher do
one, X-Ray got one. Yeah. But you've got basically, a lot of them on foam tyres, but you've got F1.
F1.
And they're rear-wheel drive, they are. But if you don't like rear-wheel drive, but you still like two-wheel drive, you could go fronty racing. Right. Now, I've just got myself a fronty, which is the FT9.
Yeah.
But if you don't like fronty racing, you could just go full-bore touring car racing.
Oh, right, and that
like
stops
carbon
there,
fibre, so you've got four-wheel drive.
It doesn't stop there.
No, because in that, you could go with the sort of 17.5 turn class, or you go modified, which is really fast.
Or 13.5 turn.
Well, that's the thing, they're changing from 17 to 13.5, which is a little bit confusing. But if you go to a club which is maybe indoors and the track's a bit tighter, the 1/10 touring cars don't go round so well. So you might want to do MTC, which is the mini touring cars, which is like a 1/12 scale, and that class much better. But you can do fronties or four-wheel drive for those.
Yeah.
And they've actually broken it down into another class because you can run foam in their like supercharged thing. So there's another 3 classes.
Okay.
But my local club, they run the GT12. I do like a GT12, and if you like the GT12, runs 1S. You could also run that one over there. What's that? An LMP.
LMP class.
That runs a 1S as well, doesn't it?
That does run a 1S. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what is quite popular at the moment: the old mini racing.
Right, the mini racing.
The mini racing. So that's like similar sort of chassis, your Mardays, your back caves, and things like that. Yeah. They run on foam tyres, but they run a 2S battery. Right. And it just gets a bit silly. But do you know what you can do now? You've got the LMGT3s, which is a cross between this car and the Mini, and you kind of pile it all together. Okay. But I'm almost missed my favourite one out. Tamiya truck racing. You could do the Tamiya truck racing, which is amazing. Yeah. My point being...
What's your point? Because, I mean, my head feels like... you know when you get a jigsaw puzzle, you do it, and then you put it back in the box and shake it up. That's how my head feels right now.
thing is, right, if everybody in touring car / on-road racing raced one class, I think we'd have the similar sort of numbers that you get at an off-road buggy club.
Yeah.
But everyone's got their little things, and part of it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love driving this
but
car. I love driving this. I love driving that. But
hang on a minute. We're partly responsible because we pop along and do a bit of everything, don't we? People see it and they go, I'll have a go at that, see?
And we have a go, and that's the whole point. If there's stuff to be driven, we'll drive it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It really is. It's
Because
a blessing
it's diluting.
because we love it. It's a curse on the wallet. It's a curse on the wallet.
It's a curse on the wallet, but I think it's a curse on the racing as well, because it just dilutes the pool a little bit.
It really does, yeah.
So-
I don't know. I mean, some on-road events, I don't know. Are they struggling a bit? I don't know.
I think the numbers have dropped off over the last couple of years. I don't know what it is, but maybe it is this diluted pool.
I don't know. What do you
lots of
think?
different
Put
things.
your thoughts in the comments. Don't have a go at us because we're just talking about cars. I know someone will probably get the ump. We'll have to delete comments like we.
We do delete comments sometimes,
Yeah,
but do you know what?
Go on.
All joking aside, because we are just having a bit of banters, bit of a laugh. I ran my LMGT3 car for the first time.
LMGT3. Would you like to tell the good folks a little bit about the LMGT3 class?
So the LMGT3 class
Yeah.
is basically you can run a GT12 chassis or an LMP chassis.
Like this one here. By the way, can I just say, absolutely love this car. I love the class. I love the class.
It's awesome, right?
Yeah.
But in this area, they run GT12, not LMP. So
Yeah.
you have to travel a good hour to
That
run
does make a big difference, you know, because most club meetings are during the week where you finish work, you want to get your stuff together, and then you want to hit the track, right? So our local track for LMP is either Bedford. They will let you run.
They'll
them
let us run
there,
them.
And you've got
Wickham is the one.
and those clubs are both.
But
brilliant.
Wickham's over an hour for us to
That's
get
the
there.
issue.
And if we don't get in from work till gone 5, sitting in traffic, it's a late night. And then we don't get back till gone midnight.
Exactly. And then the thing is with that class as well, if you want to race and do well, you have got to be a little bit of a tyre guru and
You
get
do.
your tyres trued and this, that and the other. So, which I know, I haven't raced that car. Well, I have at club nights, but I haven't done any big races with that car. I just haven't had time. But maybe that's something we'll do further down the line. But carry on, sorry.
So anyway, my local clubs, they don't really run those. They run GT12. So I've had a couple of years I've been messing around with GT12s. And when they announced this new class, I thought, you know what? Popalong, we like to experiment. I'll give it a go. So what I did is I converted this GT12 into an LM GT3. And in order to do that, what I did, I had to buy myself another battery. So it's a bit narrow. The other option is just to file these down so I could fit the batteries I've already got. But I wanted to treat myself. Anyway, control tyres. The purple line control tyres, front and rear. So they're the US spec tyres. I then got a 25.5 turn just stock motor with a just stock ESC.
So it's 2S, yeah?
2S.
Okay.
And I took out all the weight because the weight for the class is a lot lighter.
Right.
And I took it racing for the first time, and I didn't know what to expect because when I took my GT12 out for the first time, I struggled really hard. However, that man that's not a tennis player, what's his name? He's got the same name as a tennis player, but he's not a tennis player.
What's his Andy?
That's the one, Andy Murray.
Andy Murray.
Yeah, he basically designed this car.
Okay.
And I stuck it in front of him one day, and
What happened? What happened?
he did some jiggery pokery.
He's
waved his magic
He's
wand.
quite the magician, that lad.
Told me what oils I needed to run in the 3 bits there, and I did basically what he told me to do. I put it on the track, and that kind of fixed my GT12. And therefore, when I converted it over to the LMGT3, I stuck with the same setup.
And was it all right?
Stuck to the carpet like glue, boss.
All right. So look, I've heard mixed. Can I just be honest? Yeah?
Go on then.
I've heard mixed feelings from people. You know, the old racing fraternity, right? Some people were saying it's a great idea. Some people don't like the idea. That's what I've heard. But we need to explain what this class actually is about and who it's for, right?
Yeah. So this class, I think, it's a transitional class from the minis that we talked about, because basically that's the mini electrics.
Yeah.
And if you've already got the electrics, you could get yourself a GT12 or an LMP chassis, and you just convert your electric straight across, and you've got kind of like a control class. I don't think it's to compete directly with the GT12 because that's its own class.
I agree, and that's already quite.
What it's about doing
busy,
is trying to sort of all those people, because we're just as guilty as everyone else.
Oh, no.
We get a car, we run it for 6 months, maybe 8 months, a year, and then we're like, that was really good. What next?
Yeah,
and then we'll do something. What next?
I think that's just the nature of.
We've got a lot of people running the minis. Who are probably going, what can I do next? And this could be that transition across, which might, for most people, they might just enjoy running the minis, but there might be a few going, I fancy something a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think winter's. I don't want to talk about winter because we're in the summer, but it's going to inevitably come round, and I think that, you know, if clubs are perhaps struggling with getting new people in, maybe that's because it's kind of aimed at people who, as you say, want something a bit different and have got the stuff lying around. Yeah,
and it's not about replacing classes or anything like that. It's about trying to get people, give access to it, and it went round. It was slower than my GT12, but I'm going to have a little play around with gearing. Let's see if I can remedy that. But it was an easy car to drive. I can't really knock it. The power delivery on the spool with the 25.5 turn, it was just a little bit smoother than the 13.5, which kind of
you've got a spool, as you say, in there. But I've heard also that the controlled tyres will last fairly long.
They're pretty hard.
And they've chosen it because of that very thing. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we've been around long enough to see classes come and go, haven't we? And the ones that tend to sort of stick around are the ones where it's, I guess, relatively cheap to kind of maintain. Like the buggies, okay, it's a big outlay, but I don't think I've replaced anything on one B7. Honestly, I don't.
I think I've
absolutely
minimal stuff I've done with my LD3.
Yeah,
my stadium truck's still good as gold. Even our Tamiya's, the TTO ones.
I know. Exactly.
My son, to be fair, is going through front arms like you wouldn't believe, but he likes driving full speed into walls.
100%. Well, yeah. But, you know, with the LMP stuff, I've don't shoot the messenger here, but I haven't raced it, and I haven't used the car in anger whatsoever. I've done a couple of club nights and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but I have heard people to take boxes of tyres with them. That's a lot of money, right?
It is.
And if you're not very good at it, you know, because you're starting out with, you're going to chunk tyres and they're going to be good for nothing within.
Yeah, like the top guys are using one run per tyre. It's bonkers.
That's it. And I am not knocking it because I absolutely thoroughly enjoy running the LMP car. I think it's easy. I don't think it's difficult.
Oh, now I said this on the channel a little while back.
What?
Okay, I mentioned we should do a foam party. And it should be all inclusive. So we could, at the foam party, it's basically a race meet. Right. We could have a heat of LMPs.
Right.
We could have a heat of GT12s.
Yeah.
We could have a heat of LMGT3s. Right. We could have a heat of Formula 1 cars because these have got foam on as well. We can have a heat of the Mardave Minis and the Back Cave Minis and stuff like that. And it's an all inclusive. Everyone comes together. A similar sort of chassis design for all of those classes, and it's all foam tyres.
It's all foam tyres.
We use one additive on the day so no one gets to pollute the track. All right. We just need a venue that's up for being inviting to all those different classes.
Okay then.
That could be good, isn't it? This winter.
Right, this winter.
The Popalong foam party.
The Popalong foam party. Who wants to host it? Where do you think would be a good club to host the Popalong foam party? Now, I'm not being funny, right? But the Popalong GP that we just had,
the vintage one.
In fact, both of them were pretty much
both sold out.
They both sold out.
Over 100 for the rally, which was can amazing, and then close to 140 for the GP.
You got it. So I think it probably will need somewhere that can cater for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been to a Popalong event, you will know that it's fun. It's not a national. It's not a regional.
I'll tell you what, actually, if there isn't enough take up from the foam cars, although we're keeping our options open with so many classes, we could always get our favourites out and have a support class of Tamiya. TTO ones or Tamiya truck, something like that.
There you go.
So we'll start out with a foam party. If the foam party isn't as popular as we'd like it to be, we'll bang in a couple of support classes.
Sounds like a plan. So that's the video basically kind of summed up in it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
We do want to get back on road racing because quite frankly I miss it.
I am getting back on.
You are,
I'm
yeah.
on it
I've still got unfinished business outdoors at the minute for me. But
do you know what you should do with that?
What?
There's this little thing you have in your pocket.
What's the little thing?
Thing in your pocket, right? And if you take it out and push the button, it records you doing stuff. Stop going racing and not recording. We've got a YouTube channel.
Listen, right? There are sometimes I have to get in the zone, mate. I have to get in the zone. You know, the racing zone.
I forego my zone for the people out there to enjoy our journey and the racing. But you this A final, you say you got in racing against Harley. Where's the evidence? I haven't seen any footage.
I sent you the evidence.
I ain't seen the footage. I haven't seen you guys next to each other on the rostrum.
Well, we were there. Sorry, I belched and didn't I?
Oh, jeez. That's disgusting.